Hi everyone, we are Group 8. Today we will talk about urban low-carbon governance and the citizens' low-carbon travel behavior in Malaysia. Our study focuses on how government low-carbon governance policies influence citizens' travel behavior and whether low-carbon travel intention acts as mediator between governance and actual behavior. Our presentation is divided into 8 parts. This study focuses on urban low-carbon governance and citizens' low-carbon travel behavior in Malaysia. Transportation is one of the main contributors to greenhouse gas emissions in Malaysia, accounting for about 28% of total carbon emissions. This problem is mainly caused by rapid urbanization, increasing private vehicle ownership, and high dependence on fossil fuels. To reduce carbon emissions, the Malaysian government introduced several low-carbon policies and strategies. These include improving public transport systems, expanding EV charging infrastructure, providing green incentives, and developing more pedestrian walkways and cycling lines. The main goal of these efforts is to encourage citizens to adopt more sustainable and environmentally friendly travel behavior. Although many low-carbon policies have already been implemented, several research gaps still exist. First, most previous studies focused separately on government policies or individual travel behavior. Few studies combine governance factors with citizens' actual travel behavior in one framework. Second, while low-carbon travel intention is considered an important psychological factor, very few studies examine its mediating role between governance and actual behavior. Third, traditional behavioral models such as the theory of planned behavior mainly focus on internal psychological factors and often ignore external governance variables. This limits their ability to explain policy-driven behavioral changes in Malaysia. Based on these research gaps, this study aims to answer the following research problem. How does urban low-carbon governance affect citizens' low-carbon travel behavior in Malaysia? And what is the mediating role of low-carbon travel intention? This study is important because it helps connect the government policy implementation with individual behavior responses. To address the research problem, this study proposes 3 research questions. First, does urban low-carbon governance significantly affect low-carbon travel behavior? Second, does urban low-carbon governance significantly affect low-carbon travel intention? Third, does low-carbon travel intention mediate the relationship between governance and the travel behavior? The objectives of these studies are first, to examine the effort of urban low-carbon governance on low-carbon travel behavior. Second, to analyze the influence of governance on low-carbon travel intention. Third, to verify the mediating role of low-carbon travel intention. And finally, to provide practical recommendations for improving Malaysia's low-carbon mobility policies and strategies.
Walk you through Part 2 Literature Review, covering key concepts, our theoretical framework, and the research gaps our study aims to address. Moving on to the first key concept, urban low-carbon governance. This is a multifaceted concept encompassing the policies, infrastructure, and management measures implemented by authorities to reduce transport-related carbon emissions. These core elements include regulatory tools, incentive policies, infrastructure development, and public awareness campaigns. A critical research gap here is that few studies link citizens' perceptions of governance to their individual travel choice, a link our study aims to explore. Next, we turn to low-carbon travel behavior. This refers to travel choices that minimize individual carbon footprints, primarily using sustainable modes like public transport, walking, and cycling. Key influencers include personal traits such as environmental awareness and socio-economic status, as well as internal factors like infrastructure qualities, travel costs and policies. However, instead, research often overlook urban governance as a core explanatory variable, treating it as separate from people's actual travel decisions. Building on this, let's examine low-carbon travel intention. This defines as subjective probability that an individual will choose low-carbon travel in the future. In behavioral science, this is widely recognized as the most immediate psychological antidote of actual travel behavior. Based on the theory of planned behavior, intention is shaped by three factors: attitude, subjective normals, and perceived behavioral control. There we can see another gap. Most studies treat intention only as a dependent variable, while we posit it as a mediator to unpick the black box between external governance and actual travel behavior. To ground this work, we adopt a theater of planned behavior, or TPB, the dominant framework for understanding and predicting human behavior. This is four core constructs on attitude, subjective norms, perceived behavioral control, and behavioral intention. Our study extends the traditional TPB model by ending urban low-carbon governance as an external antecedent, forming the clear chain: governance to intention to behavior. Finally, let's summarize the four key research gaps that motivate our work. First, the macro-micro divide. Studies separate micro-governance policies from micro-travel behavior, leading to fragment insights. Second, the mediation mechanism graph. Few studies empirically test intention as a link between governance and behavior. Third, the theoretical limitations. Traditional TPB often exclude institutional factors like governance. Fourth, a methodological graph. There is a scarcity of SEM-based studies testing this full model in Malaysia. Our study directly addressed all these graphs using an extended TPB framework and structural equation modeling methodology.
Hello everyone, I'm Zhou Xinhao. In the third part, we will present our proposed conceptual model and the specific hypothesis we intend to test. Each variable in our model will be measured using multiple dimensions. Governance is measured by policy awareness, infrastructure quality, and incentives. Intention is measured by willingness, motivation, and planning. Behavior is measured by the frequency of using low-carbon travel models. All skills are adapted from validated academic sources. We have four main ideas called hypotheses. We believe good governance makes people want to travel in a low-carbon way, H2, and actually do it, H1. Also, when people have the well intention, we will take action behavior. This is H3 and H4. To summarize, our hypothesis H1 tests the direct effort, H2 and H3 test the pathways of the indirect effect, and H4 tests the overall mediation effect. Together, they form a comprehensive model to understand the complex relationship between governance, intention, and behavior. Now, we move to the fourth part, methodology. This section will detail how we plan to conduct our research, including our research design, sampling strategy, data collection methods, and analytical plan. Our target population is unborn Malaysian resident aged 18 to 65. We will use satisfied random sampling to ensure the representative sample across demographic. The planned sample size is 200 valid response, which is sufficient for the complex statistical analysis we plan to perform using structure equation models. Our research instrument is the structure questionnaire. The items are adapted from validated academic skills to ensure reliability. We use a 5-point Likert scale. Before the main study, we conducted a pre-test with 30 respondents. Residents to refine the questionnaire, making minor revisions to improve clarity and flow based on their feedback. And we collect the data online and offline. And we use software like SPOS, SPSS, and AMOS to check the data. This shows us if our hypotheses are correct. And this is all my part. Thank you.
Next, we will look at the durability and validity of our questionnaire. The pretest results show that all our measurement items meet academic standards or standardized factor loadings are above 0.7. Products offer and composite reliability are both higher than 0.7, and the average variance extracted is about 0.5. These values prove that our questionnaire has good reliability and convergent validity. So, next, let's move on to our research timeline. We have a clear and compact schedule for the whole project. In week 7, we will finish proposal revision and questionnaire pretest. In week 8, we will conduct formal data collection and data cleaning. In week 9, we will complete reliability and validity analysis, run the SEM model, test mediation effect, and finish the final research report. This timeline ensures our research. Next, here are the key references of our study. All references are selected from authoritative academic journals, classic theoretical works, and latest empirical studies. They provide strong theoretical support and empirical evidence for our conceptual model, hypothesis, and method. Next, this is the appendix of our research. Next, the appendix includes the full structure of our questionnaire, which covers demographic information, urban low carbon governance, low carbon travel intention, and low carbon travel behavior. The questionnaire uses 5-point Likert scale and is prepared in both English and Malay to fit the. This study helps explain how governance affects low-carbon travel behavior and provides useful suggestions for Malaysia's low-carbon mobility policies. Alright, that's all from our group. Thank you for listening.